All right, thank you, Shay, for allowing me to record. Today, we're talking about what I'm about to do is give you a visual image of carbohydrate and the role of carbohydrate in what we're trying to do. Now, before I do any of this, let me give you a caveat. Carbs are not bad. Carbs are not off limits. Okay. But we need to give carbs a reason and purpose to be present, or we might set ourselves up for long-term dissatisfaction. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, I'm just gonna draw like a diagram real quick or a graph real quick. Every time we eat, we spike our insulin. Okay.
Mhm.
And insulin is that hormone that's released to break down blood sugar. No matter what you eat, every time you eat, you are going to spike your insulin. You can be eating vegetables. Every time you eat, you're going to spike your insulin. Okay. Now, we can spike our insulin to various degrees. So, for example, if we have a meal that's highly concentrated in protein and veggies, maybe we spike our insulin a lot less, which means that afternoon crash that comes, right? Or the after meal crash that comes from us
Mhm.
raising our insulin is a lot less impactful. Our energy is a lot more stable throughout the day
Mhm.
because we're not giving our bodies these huge spikes in elevated blood sugar, right? So think of this green line as protein and veggies throughout the day. And think of this yellow line as like cookies, cakes, chips, candy, soda, juice, pizza, fries, chicken wings, nuggets, fill in the blank,
Mhm.
right? And then like fill it in with whatever you had for dinner with dessert at the end. Okay.
Mhm.
When we think of our blood sugar response to this, right? We can definitely see where this yellow line having foods that are higher in refined carbohydrate, those are like, there's no fiber, right? Whereas fruits and vegetables and whole starches have fiber. When we think about refined carbohydrates, we've removed the skin, the husk, the material from it, and we've turned it into something that's literally just like pure form sugar. So
Mhm.
we pump this stuff into our system, we consume it, it spikes our insulin, then it crashes our insulin as well, which is where instability of our blood sugar and instability of our energy levels comes in throughout the day. Okay, so just a real quick piece education on insulin, blood sugar. Okay, now insulin resistance, and this is just real quick education. Insulin resistance is when we can't get this to come down for long enough, right? So I want you to think of this graph as like the course of the year. And I'm exaggerating here for the purpose of the example, right? But I want you to think about someone who eats this green line, right? And maybe throughout the year, their insulin might do a little bit of this, and their blood sugar is generally stable. And maybe during the holidays, it raises a little bit, but generally stable throughout the year. Okay.
Mhm.
Whereas someone who eats in this manner typically has a highly elevated rate of blood sugar, right? And this is where we start to have to take diabetes medication to try to blunt this insulin response. Yes?
Mhm.
Okay. All of that clear in the back of our minds, educational purposes only. Now, let's talk about the role of carbohydrates, which spike our insulin more than just having protein, veggies, nuts, and seeds, right? So any type of carbohydrate, fruit, we think about pastas, white rice, breads, things of that nature. They spike our insulin, okay? And they do this throughout our day, but we can also bring this down by doing a couple of things. We can exercise to bring this down, right? So we think about an insulin spike or introducing blood sugar to your body. One of the easiest ways to bring down your blood sugar is to exercise, right? To stabilize your blood sugar. So let's introduce your step goal. Okay. I'm going to have 3 meals. They're going to contain carbohydrates, but I want to bring down this elevated blood sugar.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I'm going to do to bring this down is I'm going to exercise. So when I introduce this, now it kind of looks like, okay, I'm walking
Mhm.
and that brings this down as well.
Mhm.
Okay. Or one of the things that we can do, hold on one second, I'm running out of room here. Okay. Or one of the ways that I love to use carbohydrate, and let's just use one insulin spike here. All right, so we had lunch. It's a big insulin spike. Okay. One of the ways that I love to use carbohydrate is through resistance training. So I had this big insulin spike, and now I'm completely blunting this insulin spike by resistance training. Okay. So let's say I had this meal at 12 p.m. and I'm going to introduce resistance training at 1 p.m. I've now given this carbohydrate something to do. I'm depleting these carbs because through my resistance training, through me lifting weights, through me walking, fill in the blank, I am now requiring this sugar to do something rather than just sit in my bloodstream and create long-term problems, right? I say all this to say, carbohydrates, we want to start giving carbs a reason. We want to start giving carbs something to do when it comes to our day-to-day. So on the days when you have, let me get back to Sharon 1 second. It's long-winded. Let me pause real quick. Is everything clear? Do you have any questions about anything I shared? Okay, perfect. All right, so we want to start giving carbs something to do, okay? So I want you to think about a day when you're going to do your resistance training, R, plus 7K steps, okay? On this day, you're going to spike your insulin by having breakfast, and then you'll have a higher carb lunch, because that's going to come right before your workout, and then a lower carb dinner. That makes sense? All right. That's because right here in your day, you're going to work out. Right? So now you're giving the insulin something to do. You're dropping this insulin response, giving it something to do. Okay. However, if you have a day when you are not resistance training and you're only walking, on that day, maybe your insulin or your carbohydrate intake throughout the day needs to look like this: low carb meal 1, low carb meal 2, low carb meal 3. Okay. So as you think about your nutritional intake and where you place things like your waffles or where you place things like your sandwich and chips, right? We're obviously working on trying to clean some of this up, trying to remove some of the whites, trying to bring in more fiber. All those things are true. But if you have a day where you're going to have a sandwich and chips, you want to respond to that with this. Okay. All right. What is that opening up for you? This is like the high level concept, right? But what is this opening up for you?
That I can have the carbs, but I have to do something with the carb. So if I'm gonna have it on the day that I'm gonna work out. But any other day, meats, veggies.
Wow, I could have said all of that in literally 14 seconds. You're great. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, the same thing is true as we increase your activity or we do more steps. As we do more steps, we place more demand on the carbohydrate, right? We give the carbs somewhere to go as we have more activity, okay? So that to share, on days when you're not really doing nothing, those should be low carb days. On days when you have a catering event, or on days when you have a catering event and you're walking around all day and you're exercising and you're hitting your step goal, on those days, please have the sandwich and chips because they have something to do. But if they don't have anything to do, then we essentially prioritize the protein and veggies, just like you said. Okay.
I like that. Okay. I can do that.
Okay. Perfect. So now, how does that take what you did this week and alter it at all for the remainder of the week? How does that change what you have coming up this week?
It's gonna change how I make my meals. So like I got those protein waffles thinking, okay, that's, it's better than alternatives. That's something I could have with my eggs and turkey. But instead of having it just on a regular day, have that on the days that I'm going to do my resistance training and walking, so it has some place to go versus just having it in the morning just because. Like be strategic about it, and you'll see more results that way because it's doing something with those carbs.
Yes. Yes. And exactly what it's doing is giving your muscles extra boost. If you think of it as like gasoline, it gives your muscles extra boost to push yourself harder in your training.
Mhm.
Okay. So
And I
when
need
you have a yes, when you have a high carb day, that's the day when you go to the gym, you kick your butt, right? That's
okay.
the goal. Okay. So like yesterday with the waffles and then with the like you should have been busting it yesterday,
Mhm.
right? Thinking
Okay.
about what we had. Okay. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Beautiful. Perfect. Okay. So now we take all the nutrition and we're trying to build this up into a resistance training program that gives us what we want. Okay. Let's talk about your training. I think you did a couple of workouts. I think I saw a note from you as well that essentially said, hey, I tried this, made some modifications. So just walk me through what'd you do? The conditioning? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the home conditioning. There were some workouts on there that I could do. Like I know because I've done it before, but since I guess it was just like my first time doing it in a while, I was struggling a little
Yeah.
bit. Like, okay, let me sub it out to something else. Um, so that's what I did. I was subbing like some workouts and then looking at the videos that are connected. So that's why the
Yeah.
work longer than the suggested time.
Mhm.
Um, but it was pretty good. A little sore, but today is like
Good.
gym today, so we'll see how that goes.
Perfect. Okay. So which aspects of this did you need to revise?
So let me see. Let's see. The one there was what was it? There was something where I had to be on the floor. It wasn't. I think I did the plank. And then the one where you lift up your leg, also in the plank. But there was something else. It was like you had to lay like flat and then kind of. Let me see.
Not this one?
No, not it wasn't that one. Um, let me
This
see.
one.
No, I can show you. I can send you the workouts modified
I'm
that I
sorry?
changed. I can send you the ones that I changed from, if that helps.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Yep. Send me the
Floor.
adaptation that you made. Sorry.
Okay. There was certain ones that was on the floor. Like I did like two of them, but there was like two other ones that was on the floor. I was like I switched it to like something else that was using my dumbbells, and then another one where I could sit up and like do it versus
Okay.
being on. That was really the main modification.
Okay. Just let me know.
Okay.
And then today we have your gym day.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that we have some warm-up time to just get yourself warm. We want some blood flow. We want to break a little bit of a sweat on the elliptical as you get started.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have this kettlebell goblet squat,
Mm-hmm.
and your gym has kettlebells, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Can
I
I
want
just
you to, I'm sorry?
if they don't, can I just use a regular weight?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep, you sure can. But the objective is to kind of slow this down, get a nice long stretch in the bottom position, and slow your way back up to the top. Okay. You got machine leg press, you got some reverse lunges, you got leg extensions, and then you got the leg drop with the wall sit, some core kind of burnout session at the end here. Okay. The goal is not to come in here and like, you know, treat it like you're going to war, right?
Mhm.
We want to come in here and get a good stimulus. Okay. So, as best you can, just see what your body is willing to do, what feels good,
Mhm.
right? And keep me updated. Okay. And as we need to make adaptations, you have this function to send me a message in the app to let me know, hey, coach, I like this. I didn't like this. Can we change this? My gym doesn't have this. You send that to me at any time. Okay. And then
Okay.
also send me your videos, because that assessment that I need, the videos that I need are just to make sure that we're doing this safely. Okay. So send me your videos. You can do that in the gym today too, if you can.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. And then Friday, we'll do our formal check-in, right? To
Okay.
make sure things are happening the way we want them to. And if they're not, then we will make adaptations to the plan. Okay.
Okay.
One of the adaptations that we'll make is, instead of kind of primarily logging with the photos, we'll actually try to get a little bit more accurate with the logging. Okay. So that might be what's ahead. We'll increase your steps, we'll decrease some of the calories, and try to get more accurate with the logging if we don't see what we want to see coming up this Friday. Okay.
Okay.
Full transparency. Let's see. We should be somewhere between like 6 and 8 pounds at minimum between this up in terms of what happens on Friday, somewhere between 6 and 8. Now, that does not take into account travel and weekend and birthday and fill into the blank, right? But we'll see what happens this Friday. And as we need, we'll make adaptations. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Let me make sure that we're good for our next check-in. Yep, we're good. So we just hold Wednesdays at this time. This is good for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For anything else for me?
No, I got a lot to do. That's all.
Got a lot to do, but you're doing it. And when we talk, I can give you more to do because you're doing it, right? I can give you more to do because you're actively working on it. Now, if at any point it's too much, you let me know.
Okay.
Because there's too many things to focus on. Okay. But for right now, I think you're doing great.
And I got my streak. I'm not breaking it. I'm keeping it.
I love it. I love it. Well, keep me updated. Let me know how your week feels, and I'll be looking to hear from you in the app. Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All righty. Bye.
Bye.